Welcome to part 6 of this series on Black dolls. If you are new to this series, I encourage you to first watch the intro video tagged below for context. I'd also like to warn that if you're easily offended by discussions about our unfortunate history in regards to slavery, and if you love Raggedy Ann but you don't want to hear about her part in all of this, now would be a good time to scroll on. In her book, Racial Innocence, Performing American Childhood from Slavery to Civil Rights by Robin Bernstein, she describes racial innocence as a form of deflection, a not knowing or obliviousness that can be made politically useful. Bernstein writes that Johnny Gruelle and his wife, Myrtle Swan Gruelle, began manufacturing Raggedy Ann dolls at their home in Norwalk, Connecticut on a small scale in about 1915. Gruelle then wrote and illustrated a book titled Raggedy Ann Stories, which the P.F. Volland Company published in 1918. Raggedy Ann Stories follows a community of dolls owned and loved by a human girl named Marcella, the namesake of Gruelle's actual daughter, who the Raggedy dolls call their mistress. Whenever Marcella sleeps or leaves the nursery in which she and the dolls reside, the secretly sentient dolls stir and pursue wholesome adventures. Before their mistress awakens or returns, the cheerful, playful dolls hide all evidence of their sentience, return to the nursery, and resume the precise positions in which Marcella left them. As explained by Bernstein, book-toy combinations are powerful as both marketing tools and shapers of culture because they hinge a consumer product to a narrative and thus transform both books and toys into descriptive things that simultaneously prompt behavior and allow for individual agency. Raggedy books provided a Raggedy doll with a name, personality, and plot scenarios. Certainly, many children resisted this interdependence and played with the dolls in ways that had nothing to do with the books, and some children encounter either books or the dolls, but not both. I myself have owned this doll since the late 1970s, but only learned about and acquired the book in March 2024, when I found it with the black Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls at an estate sale in Easton, Connecticut. Gruelle marketed these products to girls who were implicitly but unquestionably white, because in the early 20th century, children of color were excluded altogether from the advertiser's pantheon of vaunted child consumers. Gruelle triangulated dolls, books, and white girls by basing his book's plots on his observation of his white daughter's practices of doll play. Raggedy Ann stories, like the doll play typical of many children, are free associative, episodic, and casually violent. The book and doll combination sold brilliantly, in part because anti-German sentiment during World War I motivated parents to buy American products rather than German-made playthings that then dominated the toy industry. One salesman for Volland reported that retailers, upon receiving a shipment of Raggedy Ann books, often reordered immediately. The dolls too sold well, over 3,200 within the first 8 months. Between 1918 and his death in 1938, Gruelle wrote and illustrated 20 books featuring a pantheon of Raggedy characters, including Raggedy Ann, Raggedy Andy, Beloved Belindy, and many more figures that were simultaneously marketed as dolls. United Media Licensing, which currently owns the rights to Raggedy Ann, claims total sales of 50 million Raggedy Ann books and products, including 2 million items from 1994 to 2009 alone. In 2008, marketing evaluations found that Raggedy Ann has a 94% awareness rate with moms of children 3 to 11. That's 93 years after Gruelle first introduced the character. Today, Raggedy Ann remains an instantly recognizable fixture in children's culture, available for purchase in almost any toy store, and that means Connecticut's girl has been an American icon for over a century.